They came to Earth expecting an easy conquest. The Val'Rath were a warrior species, towering giants of muscle and scale, feared across the stars. Their empire spanned dozens of conquered worlds, and their doctrine was simple: identify weak planets, strike hard, and assimilate the survivors. When they discovered Earth, they were unimpressed. The dominant species, humans, were small, fragile, and lacking natural weapons. Their technology was primitive, barely scratching the surface of interstellar travel. The Val'Rath saw no challenge, no risk. But their scans revealed something else. A second dominant predator species lived alongside the humans. Smaller, swifter, with razor-sharp natural weapons and an unsettlingly high kill rate. It seemed to be a companion to humans, often seen resting in their homes, moving freely in and out of their shelters. Yet, despite its small size, its hunting efficiency was unparalleled. Stealthy, patient, and capable of taking down prey far larger than itself, it displayed a tactical intelligence the Val'Rath had only seen in their most elite assassins. The invaders became curious. If humans had domesticated such a predator, perhaps it could be useful. Perhaps it could be controlled. The first scouting team was sent to investigate. A group of elite Val'Rath soldiers landed in a quiet human-dwelling zone, a place the natives called a suburb. They moved cautiously, watching for signs of resistance. But the streets were silent, the houses still. A scouting drone swept the area and identified a single lifeform in the vicinity. The Val'Rath squad expected a minor encounter. Instead, they found themselves face to face with the most horrifying opponent they had ever encountered. The creature sat motionless in the shadows, its golden eyes locked onto them. It made no sound, no movement, its gaze unwavering, unafraid. One soldier, emboldened by the apparent lack of threat, reached out toward it. A blur of motion, a flash of pain. The Val'Rath stumbled back, his armor slashed open, his fingers dripping with dark blue blood. He barely had time to process the attack before the creature disappeared. It was no longer in front of them. It had moved so fast, so seamlessly, that even their enhanced vision lost track of it. Then the screaming began. One by one, the squad fell. The creature struck from nowhere, silent, efficient, merciless. It targeted weak points in their armor, striking at exposed flesh with pinpoint precision. It moved like liquid darkness, vanishing between attacks, appearing in unexpected places, always just beyond their reach. The last remaining soldier tried to retreat, activating his emergency distress beacon. His final transmission was a garbled mess of static, punctuated by ragged breathing and a single, blood-chilling sound, a deep, vibrating growl. The Val'Rath command vessel lost contact moments later. Their forces quickly mobilized, believing their squad had been eliminated by human resistance fighters. But when reinforcements arrived, they found no human warriors. No signs of battle, no weapon fire, no energy signatures. Just the remains of their squad, torn apart by something that had never fired a single shot. The only trace of their attacker was a set of small, perfectly spaced claw marks on their armor, 4 parallel slashes, deep enough to carve through reinforced plating. It was as if their most advanced protection meant nothing. The Val'Rath escalated their efforts. Larger squads were sent, heavily armed, ready to engage whatever unknown force had eliminated their scouts. But the results were always the same. Soldiers disappeared. Their screams echoed through comm channels before cutting to static. And those who managed to survive long enough to report back spoke in hushed, terrified voices. They told of an enemy that could not be tracked, could not be reasoned with. An enemy that moved like a ghost, struck with surgical precision, and, most disturbingly, seemed to enjoy the hunt. Then came the first shipboard incident. The Val'Rath had managed to capture one of the creatures, intending to transport it off-world for further study. It was contained within a specialized stasis field, unable to move, its lethal claws neutralized. They thought they were safe. They were wrong. During transport, the containment system failed. No alarms were triggered. No alerts were sent. By the time the crew realized something was wrong, it was too late. Security footage recovered from the wreckage later revealed the horror that unfolded. The creature moved through the ship with impossible grace, slipping through narrow spaces, hiding in the vents, striking from above when least expected. The crew fought back, but their weapons were useless against something that never stayed in one place long enough to be hit. One by one, they were picked off. Some fell to direct attacks, their throats slashed in the darkness. Others died in blind panic, running into walls, falling over railings, desperately trying to escape an enemy they could not see. By the time the ship was discovered, it was adrift, its crew missing. The only sign of what had transpired was the eerie silence that filled its halls. Every system had been destroyed, every wire shredded, every console clawed apart, and in the command center, resting atop the captain's chair, sat the creature. Calm, grooming itself, unbothered by the chaos it had caused. When the recovery team arrived, it was gone. The Val'Rath withdrew from Earth immediately. What had begun as a simple invasion had turned into a nightmare. Their species had fought wars against galactic empires, faced fleets of warships, conquered entire planets. And yet, nothing had prepared them for this. They had never encountered a predator so perfect, so efficient, so utterly unkillable. Word spread quickly through the galaxy. Earth was not to be touched. It was declared a Tier 1 apex threat, its inhabitants classified as dangerously unpredictable. And most terrifying of all, humans lived alongside these creatures willingly. They chose to coexist with them. Reports surfaced of humans allowing the creatures to sleep in their homes, to roam freely, to share their food. More disturbingly, humans seemed to enjoy their violent tendencies, often laughing as they inflicted minor wounds on their owners. Some even encouraged their aggressive behavior, offering them specialized training, testing their speed, rewarding them for their ruthless efficiency. The realization sent a wave of panic through the galactic community. If humans could tame such monsters, what did that say about them? What kind of species could look at a creature so deadly, so merciless, and call it cute? What kind of beings allowed these predators to crawl onto their laps, to curl up beside them as they slept, completely unfazed by the danger? The rest of the galaxy could only come to one terrifying conclusion: if humans were comfortable keeping such creatures as companions, they themselves must be even worse. The Val'Rath never returned. Their empire crumbled as fear spread through their ranks. No species was willing to fight alongside a race that had been bested by something so deceptively small. No one wanted to risk encountering the creatures ever again. The name, Murder Mittens, became legend, spoken in hushed whispers, a cautionary tale told to those foolish enough to consider setting foot on Earth. And yet, humans continued to live with them, unaware of the fear they had unleashed upon the stars. They called them kitty. They stroked their fur, let them nap on their laps, let them sharpen their claws on their furniture. They believed they were in control. But the rest of the galaxy knew the truth. These creatures did not kill out of necessity. They did not hunt for survival. They killed for fun.